Hey guys, how are you doing today? It's Agnes here, your laptop lifestyle architect and online business manager. And today I would like to talk about, yes, working from home and working for yourself. It's not for everyone, right? Let me know what you are doing, if you're working with clients or if you have your own business or if you are still in 9 to 5 or somewhere between, so we can connect and we can relate, right? So today I would like to talk about the pros and cons because back in the days when I got started working from home, actually I was still with a company, so I was still working for a corporation, but because of different circumstances, they let me work from home. And I was really excited because if you watch my previous lives, then you know that I went through a really tough time back in the days. And I was just so happy that I was able to, instead of commuting 4 hours a day, I was able to cook for myself. I was able to eat healthy stuff, what I actually cooked. That day, in my lunch break, that I was able to go to the gym in the morning. So it was like a dream come true, up until a point, right, when you really realize that okay, you still have the job to do. So I thought I list all of my or the most of my things were pros and cons and how I dealt with them since I'm working from home for 5 years now or something like that, even six years now, I think. Yeah. So it's been a while. I think I mastered it, but I tell you, it's not for everyone, and you really need to think about things. So let me know what are your pros and cons, and if you want to test yourself, and if you want to try it, then let me know. We can come up with some kind of action plan for you to make it happen, because I think it is a huge one. So let's start with the pros, because those are obvious, and I don't need too much of a explanation for that. I came across a report thanks to one of my friends, Kendall, and she sent me a report what VIPVA did. So they asked questions of UK VAs and freelancers, and flexibility was the number one reason why people joined. I think something like 15% started their businesses, their VA businesses or social media marketing businesses because of the baby was coming or on the way or already there, and they didn't want it to go back to work. Some of them were retiring or early retirements, and some of them were actually just looking for something more comfortable and flexible by the clients. By the family, right? So that's something. Hi guys, how are you doing? Are you working full-time online, part-time online? Let me know. And I'm talking today about the pros and cons. So just add your pros and cons and we can discuss. So a couple of pros, it's of course then the flexibility, right? You can have your own time management. You can if you are working with clients and you don't need to sit there actually 9 to 5 as I did back in the days, then you can have your own time management. You can say, okay, now I take a 20-minute break, now I take this break and that break, but the work needs to be done, so it's definitely something to think about, right? You don't need to ask people for holiday. You can book your own traveling schedule if someone needs you. If you watch my video previously, then you know that one of my big reasons was that my father died actually while I was in England, and he was in Hungary. And I was like, there is no way that I want to be bound to a job where I need to ask for holidays when people need me the most, right? And your loved ones need you the most. So that was definitely something what was a pro for me. And as I mentioned, right, it's like cooking at home instead of commuting. That was definitely something what I was, it was high on my list. But the cons, so let me know if you have other pros. The cons actually when I first got started, I mentioned that I worked for a company in first level support. And I had my phone, I had my internet, I had my laptop, and I was working. And I was like, "Oh, okay, let's do everything what you can. I can watch TV, I can listen music, I can listen radio, what in the office wasn't allowed, and stuff like that." But you know what? You got the call, you have to switch on mute, then you do the stuff what you need to do, then you switch it back on, and so on and so forth. So you have this amazing idea about working home. If you have that amazing idea, working from home and music in the background, and you're just, going through your day, it's not always like that, right? You need to focus, you need to, be there. Sometimes in a coffee shop or something, it's just too noisy. I have a client, she is really often on her way when we are talking, and mostly the background noise, actually, it's more louder than actually I hear her. So it can be really disturbing sometimes when you are not actually sitting at home. Or I was always thinking that, oh, you're sitting on the beach, you're sitting on a balcony, and then you can work from there. But actually, the sun is shining, then you don't see a thing on your computer. So it's definitely something you need to get used to. And sometimes even working from your phone is even better than from your laptop. Don't even mention then 1 hour or 1 or 2 hours on my laptop's battery is actually not really enough for anything that I go somewhere and I do the work. So that was something I thought it will be so fabulous and so good, but at the end of the day it didn't really work out. And because I do loads of calls and I need proper internet. I really do need a stable internet. So sometimes in coffee shops the internet is just terrible, or on your way. Most likely, I think 100% in the cases, with my mobile network or mobile Wi-Fi, actually I was better off than the actual coffee shop internet. So that's network inaccessible on the beach. Yeah, and that's another one, right? I needed to move. We were in Turkey, and I guess at the bar they had a Wi-Fi thing, right? But on the beach, I needed to move closer and closer to the bar to have two bars on my phone to be able to work then to the beach. And sun is everywhere, and it's not always the best. Sometimes it's great. I had my iPad and the keyboard, and it was great to do minimal stuff. But really doing the work or editing websites where I need really a mouse as well, or so really work, I tend to stay here and like when I have my stuff and my big computer and stuff like that, right? So it might come because of the style how I'm working or what I'm doing. Maybe if you are a copywriter or something, right? You just switch off everything and you just type things, and when you get back online, then you can upload that or something like that. So there are tasks, but you really need to think about these things, right? When you get started, and I was delusional. I thought it will be easy peasy, no worries, no problem, nothing. And then we can go from there, but it's not really always as it is. Another thing are holidays. So you think that you are available all the time, so it doesn't really matter if you're on the beach, or if you are in another country, if you are wherever. But traveling and working at the same time, what I found is that I need more time, right? I need more time to travel and to see where we are at, right? And also need time to work. So what I usually do is we go somewhere, and then I dedicate the morning time, a couple of hours, 4 hours or something like that, to do the work, right? And then at the afternoon we can do stuff. But it happened loads of times that the people I traveled with, they went and had fun while I was working in the hotel, which is, from it's great. I know it's great. But when you are sitting there and you have to work, right? Then you are like, man, I'm jealous they are on holiday. So this is something what you need to plan in, be prepared, and to make sure that you know about this, and you are planning the city tours, the whatever you want to do there, in a way that, okay, I know I might need to sacrifice some time for work, or really need to get those boundaries set right and say, okay, now I try to do the job, and I try to switch off as well, because we need that. So when you have the possibility to work from everywhere or from anywhere to any time, then you do it because it's your job, because you have clients you love, because if at 9 p.m. someone asks you to join a webinar, then you hop on a webinar because it doesn't feel like work. But there are times when you really need to set the boundaries, and I think that's one of my next thing is, make sure that you have time for yourself, and make sure that you are not overworking, and that you are not always on duty, so to say. I even was thinking actually to get another phone, setting those type of boundaries where you have you don't use the same communication ways what you are using with your family, because then it will happen that 10 p.m. you will get a message, and if you cannot handle that, and you hop on the message, or you hop on the topic, you are switched back on, and you cannot really switch off. So that was a huge lesson. I remember shutting everything down. It was 10 p.m. I was working from 8 a.m. and it was 10 p.m. and a message came, a notification from Trello that one of my clients commented something, that they cannot find something. And I woke up, I went back to my laptop, and I switched on everything in my PG, and Barfoot it was called, and I was like, Agnes, what the heck are you doing? There is no such emergency that cannot wait until the next day. But when do you realize that only after you made the mistake, and only after you actually are close to burnout? So it is really, really important that you set the boundaries, you set up your notifications in a way that that nothing is coming through, or just make sure that, for example, it was an issue by me not that long ago, actually, that I was using my WhatsApp and my Viber, what I'm using with my family, to actually to work with clients or clients, prospects and stuff like that. Also with Messenger, I use Messenger a lot with my clients, but it is distracting, and the notifications from my friends, from my mother, went down the feed, and I was switching off everything, and I switched off my social life as well because of that, because I wanted to avoid hopping on an email, sending something through at night. So it is tricky, but I think if you are aware about that, and if you are going into that with that mindset and being aware, then you can change it, and then you can set the boundaries. So it's definitely something to think about. uh, Back in the days, I used to work for a VA company, and the company had approximately, on average, I think 400 clients at least, and from that, 100 were in our department, in the marketing department. And so being the vertical lead, I got everything. I got the bad, the ugly, the everything, right? And sometimes I woke up like, I can't believe it. It feels like I have 400 different bosses. You have no idea, what they really, how they work, what they want, what a day they have, right? How do they react? How do they like to work? And at the end of the day, it was really complicated, and it was really emotional, and I was really close to burnout because of that. So, but the report says, so if you are in a service business, then or a VA or social media manager, or you have your own clients. That VA report I just mentioned at the beginning says that usually on average 1 to 5 clients are enough to cover your costs and to cover everything what you need. So you don't need to have 10 clients, if you're running an agency or something like that. But yeah, so if you have something different, or if you have something else, obviously it depends on what you are doing. But the more clients you have, the more support they need. So that's something also to think about. Let me check. Yeah, discipline and good time management, that's definitely something, what you need. Of course, you can start the laundry, the washing machine. You can cook in the meantime, but it's definitely something to think about and consider, that you need certain times when you sit down and work. Being it is something in the boundaries field, right? Most of the VAs, and that was the issue with me as well back in the days, most of the VAs are undercharging, underbilling their clients. So if you're still working on an hourly basis, most of the VAs are not charging for all of the time they actually spend from switching on the laptop to actually doing the job, which is a problem in the industry. And obviously, you don't want to pay as a client. You don't want to pay for her to getting better in stuff, for her to I don't know, learning stuff. But there must be a little bit of wiggle room, because what did the report said? It was something like they are working 40 plus hours and they are charging almost only the half of that. I remember back in the days when I got started with this company, I was charging 30-40% of the time what I was actually spending on it. And it's not fun. I'm telling you, it's not fun. So it's there needs to be a good way for you to, as a client, or for you to, as a service provider, find that middle way where, if you're working on an hourly basis, that you to cover that cost what you actually put in there, right? um, of course, you're not working for a corporation. You may be running your own business, or maybe you are registered as a business. So there were times I really did miss the paid holidays back in the days when I was working for hours, because I needed to put that work towards that. I know that in 2 weeks I will be on holiday. I won't be able to work, or not as much, but the costs are still there, right? You still need to pay your mortgage, and you still need to buy food. And if you are on holiday, or if you are living location independently, you still have those costs, or even double of the cost. So that's another thing, and insurance and tax. And think about it. Make sure that you educate yourself. I know in the US insurance is a huge thing. And I had an interview in my Laptop Lifestyle Builders group. I had an interview with an accountant, and she said 30%. So when you know your expenses, when you know your own expenses, the business expenses and your own expenses, add an extra 30% in the US as for taxes, right? Because that's definitely something what will come down at the end of the month or year, or I don't know how they do that. So be prepared, because it can be nasty. So don't just think about it oh, okay, I can replace my income, the income what you get from a corporation, or from your job as an employee. Think about the extra additional stuff, and it's good to really talk to an accountant in your country, in your state, because they will be able to tell you what you need. So yeah. And the last and biggest thing is getting clients, right? If you are working for yourself, you need to have your own clients. Even if you are a coach, even if you are a service provider, even if you are, selling whatever, you need to have those clients, and keeping those clients is a key. So at the beginning, you have the issue to getting clients, and actually, I think in the report I was just going through, they said, I think 55% of people, or most of the people have an issue. And actually I did my own surveys in the last couple of days or a week or so. I talked to 10 people, and getting clients is the number one. It's the number one. It doesn't matter, what you do. Getting clients is the number one thing. And sometimes it would be nice, right, when they would just come, but you really need to have the systems and processes in place to make sure that, okay, you are working on getting clients, you get your first clients, you are onboarding your first clients, but you still need to make sure that you are actively getting those eyeballs on your offer and on your stuff, what you are selling. So even if a client project is done, or even if the client moves on, then you have that nice flow, and it's not like, shoot, someone canceled, shoot, I need a client like yesterday, right? You should have a good amount of people in the pipeline. You should have people seeing you all the time, that you don't need to start from scratch. But keeping those clients and making those clients happy is also crucial. And the more you have, the more happy clients you have, the easier it is. I just found a couple of posts lately in other groups where people are having hard time with their VAs and project managers and social media managers not performing as they want. And tomorrow I will go through a couple of, I will go through, how you can eliminate 90% of the issues with the stuff what I learned. But you need to make sure that the clients are happy, and that they are actually enjoying what you do. And also, sometimes you have to fire clients, and that's totally okay, right? We won't be able to work with everyone, we won't be able to keep up with everyone, but there are things what you can do, and you can make sure that if you are a VA or service provider, your client is happy. Or if you are someone who is hiring people, or who have service providers, to make sure that you have a nice balance, right? You have a nice balance where you enjoy working together. And actually, I'm looking so forward to my client calls, because I'm pumped. I'm in my flow. I'm in my best. There are hard times, right? When you at night, oh shoot, I need to do this and that. But the point is to work with people you really do love, and that will make the difference. Instead of commuting 4 hours, working in a job where you're not happy, to do the stuff what you enjoy doing, what's your superpower, what you truly love, truly believe in, and it helps others. And from there, everything else is figurable, right? Cool, guys. Join me on Friday, where I talk about how to eliminate 90% of the issues if you are working with someone, or if you want to hire, because it's crucial. It's crucial to make it nice and a happy relationship, because that's why we are here, right? Enjoying the journey. Thank you very much for joining me. Have an amazing day, and hit interested in the event on my page for the next Friday. Cool, guys. Have an amazing one. Speak to you soon. Bye.